School mascot and school colors.
Oh, okay. It's a great question. Our school mascot is the Mountaineer, and a Mountaineer is like a mountain man. For us, he's a real person. He doesn't wear a costume like some other schools. It's a student here who has to audition for the part, and he wears he kind of looks like Daniel Boone. He's got a coonskin cap, and he carries a big musket, and he cheers on the team and gets all the students fired up for games. And our school colors are old gold and blue. So gold and blue are our colors.
Now, are Mountaineers common in West Virginia, or were they common at one point?
Mountaineers were common in West Virginia. It's it's not the university, but also the entire state. The state motto of West Virginia is "Mountaineers are always free." So it's really just a whole symbol of the whole state and kind of the mountain culture here and the people that helped found the state and cultivate the land at first.
And if you look, Eileen, on your sign, you want to hold it up, you can show Mr. Aaron here. No, this one right here. There's a picture of the mountain man on there, right? That's him?
Yeah, that's the Mountaineer.
All right. Go ahead, Donnie.
How did that become your mascot?
So was it always the Mountaineer since West Virginia has been founded?
Yeah, it's always been the Mountaineer. I'm not sure how they chose it exactly, but I think they just tried to think of something that would really get the whole spirit of the state and the school, so they settled on the Mountaineer.
Does he have a name?
Well, it's just the Mountaineer. This year's Mountaineer, his name is Jonathan. He's a student here, but it varies because the Mountaineer will change every couple of years when a student graduates or a new Mountaineer is elected.
How many students attend your school?
So how big is the University of West Virginia? How many students attend your school?
We have about 30,000 students here, so it's a pretty big place.
Now, do you all have that on one campus?
Yep, that's all on one campus.
Excellent.
How big are your class sizes?
With 30,000 students, they have to be big classes, right?
Well, we actually have pretty normal sized classes. We have about 30 to 40 students in a class is the average amount. So you might be in a class with only 10 students in it, but you also might be in a larger class with around 100 students in it. It depends on the class. And as you get older and the more you progress through school, the smaller your classes get.
That's often what I will tell them is, when I started school, I might have started out and had one class that was, the size of a movie theater where they have over 100 kids in it. But then as I got more specific and going into my teaching classes, as they really started teaching the methods of how to teach and philosophy of teaching, things like that, the classes went from 100 to about 15, 18, 20 students, and that's it. And then in some of my, last year, senior year classes, I had 6 kids in my class, and that was it.
Yeah, you'll find that here also.
Go ahead, Eileen.
How far is your school from Kingsburg, New Jersey?
So how far are you guys from us?
We're about 5 hours away by car.
Okay, that's not too bad. So,
Yeah.
Actually, go ahead. You'll ask the question.
What things are your there to do on and around your school?
So what types of things are there to do on and around your school? Now, is your school is located right inside of a city, correct?
Yeah, it's a small city, Morgantown, where we're in Morgantown, West Virginia, which is a small city. As far as things to do, there's tons of stuff. On campus, we have a bowling alley and a movie theater and our student center, and also our recreation center with a rock wall and basketball courts and a swimming pool and all sorts of exercise equipment. And then also just around the area, there's lots of hiking. We're right in the mountains, so there's hiking and kayaking and whitewater rafting and rock climbing that a lot of students like to do.
And then what about in Morganville itself?
In Morgantown itself, there's tons of shops and restaurants, and people will go to concerts and movies, just like any normal town. Really, the outdoor stuff is what separates us. Once you get outside the city a little bit, but it's only a 10-minute drive from campus, and you get to some of the best hiking in America.
Excellent. Now, if the students wanted to leave campus and go into town, do you guys have buses or anything like that that brings them in?
Yeah, absolutely. We have buses. Excuse me. We have buses that run all throughout the city that'll take you wherever you want to go. If you need to go to the mall or the grocery store, and then we actually have something pretty unique in that we have a monorail running through our campus. It connects different parts of campus together, so students can ride that. It's free for students to ride, and they can ride from one end of campus to the other.
That's really neat. Got it.
What do most students do on the weekends?
What do most students do on the weekends?
On the weekends, our students like to go to football games during the football season. Our sports are pretty popular here at WVU, so students will go to football games in the fall, basketball games in the winter. We just have tons of events on campus. We bring bands and comedians and plays and musicals to campus, and students will go see those. A lot of our students participate in community service events on campus for their different organizations that they participate in, the different clubs.
Now, being that we're about 5 hours away, would you say a large population of students stay on the weekends?
Yeah, absolutely. About half of our student population comes from outside the state of West Virginia. So we actually have a ton of kids from New Jersey who come here every year, and it's too far for them to go home on the weekend, so they stay most weekends. So campus is a pretty happening place during the weekend.
Excellent. Sherry?
What types of sports are offered at your school?
Well, we have 17 Division I sports. We have I can't name them all. Football, basketball, soccer, baseball, rowing, volleyball, so many more. And then we also have more intramural sports that students just play against other students here on campus. And then we also have club sports like hockey and lacrosse. We have tons of different sports and activities, but I can't name them all. There's too many to name.
Now, I've told them that, with being such a big school like West Virginia is, they take really the best of the best athletes to play Division I. But those club and intramural sports is, if you grew up playing baseball and you love playing it, and maybe you're not as talented to be on that Division I team, you could play against other students at West Virginia and still be part of a baseball club or an intramural club there on campus.
Absolutely, and that's how it goes for almost every sport. If you can't play the Division I level, if you don't want to play the Division I level, we have club and intramural sports here for that, and students have a lot of fun with those.
Excellent. Gotcha.
Do you have any
Do you guys have any rivals?
We do. Our biggest rival is the University of Pittsburgh. We're only an hour south of Pittsburgh, so we are very big rivals with the Pitt Panthers. But we just switched our conferences, so we don't actually play Pittsburgh anymore, although it's still a rivalry. So some of our other rivals are Virginia Tech and Texas and Oklahoma are some of our big rivals.
Does your school have any traditions?
We do have lots of traditions. We have lots of things, different cheers that we'll do at football games for when the team might get a first down. We have some things that might look a little bit silly that we do. And then we also have some traditions like a beard growing contest in the spirit of the Mountaineer, who usually has a beard. And then also the monorail that I was talking about earlier. They're little cars and they fit about 20 people in them. But every year during homecoming, they have what they call the cram, and they try to fit as many students in there as possible. So that's one of our most recognized traditions.
I can imagine.
They can fit about 100 people in one of those ones.
I can imagine that could get quite uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jeff.
What is your school best known for?
What is your school best known for?
Our education is pretty well known. We have a lot of engineers. And then also just different academic programs that we have. People might recognize us from seeing our football team on TV or our basketball team on TV, and that's fine too. But we're really well known for producing some top quality students.
Excellent.
Why do people chose to attend your school?
So what would it be, especially if we're from New Jersey, what would it be about West Virginia that most students choose to come there?
Well, students come to WVU for a whole bunch of different reasons. They might come here because we have a major that they're interested in that you can't find anywhere else in the country, because we have some programs that are pretty unique. They might come here because we offer the best in a program, or they might just really like the whole environment, where it's a pretty friendly place down here. So we like to say we're kind of one big family, so people seem to really like that. They also like where we're located, just, not too far from home, about 5 hours away from home, but far enough that your parents will be coming and visiting you every day.
I keep telling them that, it's nice to have a little bit of distance between where you grew up and where you go to school. Whether it be an hour or anything over an hour, that way you're not tempted to always come home, because it's always, once you go to school like that, it's kind of always good to stay around, and it causes you to make new friends and get comfortable being in a different setting like that.
Absolutely. One of the best parts of college is that you get to experience new things and go away from home and see how some other people live for a while, and really just expand what you know in your experience.
How big is your campus?
So how big is your campus at WVU?
I think we're about 5,000 acres. It's a pretty big campus. Our campus is actually split into two different campuses. But it's all one thing. But it's all in one campus. But we have two parts of that: a downtown area and then what we call the Evansdale area. So it's a pretty big place. The whole campus itself is probably about 2 to 3 miles long.
So let's say you had, you were living on one side of campus and had to walk to the other side. How long would it probably take you to walk from one side to the other?
Probably about 20 minutes.
That's not too bad. Go ahead.
How do most people get around campus?
So how do most people get around? I know you said you had the monorail, but what are some other ways that students get around
Right.
campus?
Well, we have the monorail. We also have buses that the students take, and then also just a lot of students drive or walk or bike to class. You can walk pretty much everywhere here, so students are usually walking, and also parking isn't that great. They give out a lot of tickets, so everyone is walking or riding their bike.
What are your most popular majors?
What are your most popular majors?
Well, some of our most popular majors are engineering, also business, education, and also some unique programs like forensic science, which is like the CSI stuff you might find on TV. We're pretty popular for that. But yeah, engineering, business, education, forensic science, psychology, journalism, those are pretty much our most popular programs. But we have 191 different programs, so
Wow.
There's lots of things to choose from. You can even study puppetry if you're interested here.
Oh, cool. Now let me ask you this, because a lot of kids in the different groups have asked this at different schools. Do you have a video game design major?
We don't have that as a major, but you can do it in a program for this in engineering, where you can you learn a lot about it and you get certified in it, but your degree is not actually in it.
It would be in like computer engineering, or?
Yeah, it'd be a computer science degree, and you can get a certificate in video game design.
Cool.
But lots of things are changing, and by the time that you guys are applying to college, there's a good chance that we'll have that.
Good. You got 10 years. Who knows what video games will look like by then?
All right, yeah, I'll pass that along.
Yeah.
What is the cost of your school?
So what's the cost of WVU for us in New Jersey?
Well, tuition and room and board together, so your dorm, is altogether about $30,000 a year.
Which that's actually not as bad as I would expect for an out-of-state school.
No, it's pretty reasonable, which is why we have a lot of out-of-state students that come to WVU. And then also, we offer a lot of scholarships for our students to help make up for that cost.
Now, this is a question I know that wasn't on there, but I'm just curious. When you guys are looking at, acceptance into the school and with scholarship, is everything merit-based, or do you kind of take that holistic approach where you look at, the different activities they've been involved in, the different programs they've done in high school, sports, club leadership, anything like that? Or do you guys just do strictly academic-based?
Well, we have done pretty much just academics in the past, but I know that we're moving toward a more holistic approach.
Excellent.
Do you offer scholarships?
Now, you said you did offer scholarships, correct?
Yep, we offer scholarships, and those are based on your academics. So you gotta get straight A's, and hopefully get a scholarship.
That's. Go ahead.
Do you have any famous alumni?
Do you have any famous alumni?
We do. We have some famous alumni. I'm not sure if you guys might know them. They're famous in different fields. We don't really have any celebrities. Lady Gaga's mom did go to WVU, but I'm trying to think right now of a famous alumni. Our alumni really go out there and they work in a lot of different fields, and they're famous in those fields, but they might not necessarily be on TV every day.
What do you like most about your school?
Now, are you a WVU grad?
I am. I
So-
am a graduate.
Now, what would you say you like most about attending and now working for WVU?
Well, I just like that it really is like a big family. I was from out of state when I came here. I'm originally from Philadelphia, so I didn't really know anybody. And as soon as I stepped on campus, I just felt like I was home and that it was the place for me. And I always felt welcome there, and everyone was very friendly.
Excellent. So, any other questions you guys have? I know a lot of the questions that they had asked me before we had were talked were, they were a big concern was always the distance. How far are they from home, and would they be able to get home if they needed to? That sort of thing is kind of that thought process now. But that being only 5 hours, I mean that's not bad at all. It's the same as us going to Rhode Island or Massachusetts. Not very far at all.
Right.
Go ahead, Marita.
Do you guys have an arcade?
Do you have an arcade on campus?
We actually do have an arcade. It's right next to our bowling alley, so you can play some video games there.
Awesome. How about the food? How's the food at West Virginia?
The food is very good. They have very very good food there. Some food that you guys might not be familiar with in New Jersey, but we have excellent sweet tea and biscuits and gravy. But it's very good here on campus.
Do you have any pets?
Can you have pets when you go to WVU?
You can't have a pet in the dorm. You can have a fish, but you're not allowed to have like a dog or a cat or a parrot or anything like that. But a lot of our students will choose to live off of campus after their first year, so they'll get their own apartment or something, and then they might be able to have a pet.
Do you have any equipment
For what?
for sports?
Okay, yeah. Do you guys have like a gym and like a sports training center for them to do athletic training and stuff like that?
Absolutely. Our student recreation center is what we call it, and it's won awards for how impressive it is. There's 2 floors. The bottom floor, there's like 10 basketball courts, an Olympic-sized swimming pool, and then also like a pool just to have fun in, like with a whirlpool and a hot tub. And then there's all sorts of weightlifting equipment. And then on the top, there's things like treadmills, racquetball courts, and our rock climbing wall.
And that all students have access to that?
Yep.
Wow, that's awesome.
Do you have a cafeteria?
Does every residence hall have a dining hall with it as well, or is there one central dining hall for them to go to?
Almost every dorm has their own dining hall. There are only 3 dorms on campus that have to share with other dorms.
So wherever you decide to live, Donnie, you could just walk down to the ground floor and you would have your choice. And the way the cafeteria is usually at most schools is, most colleges, you don't have just one choice like you would at our school. When you go in, you have lots of choices of things to eat.
That's right, and they have soft serve ice cream whenever you want it. If you want ice cream for breakfast, you could do that.
Go ahead.
What do you do at your school?
When you take classes, you have the opportunity to pick when you want to take them, right? You don't have to always go at the same time every day.
That's right. So, like, where you guys go to school every day at the same time and are done every day at the same time, your schedule here might change. You might have class, very early one day and then not till later the next day. You might not have class on one day. You have a lot of freedom and flexibility.
Well, that's what he had said. The mascot became because the Mountaineers were the ones who founded West Virginia, right, and kind of cleared the land and made it a inhabitable territory.
That's right.
Oh, that's a good one. How do you pick the mascots when the one graduates?
Oh, that is a good question. And we're actually in the middle of our Mountaineer selection process right now. So there's a couple things. The student has to apply. There's an application they fill out, and then who have been with the university for a long time, and also some current students, and they interview that person and find out, why they want to be the Mountaineer and what it means to them. And then from that, they select 5 finalists, and they go to a basketball game, and they each get a designated amount of time that they get to cheer and try to, get the crowds excited. And then based on that, they choose.
Now I have a question. Does the Mountaineer receive a scholarship?
I don't believe so, but he does. I think he gets a stipend.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Rita.
Do you guys have a library?
You have a library.
We do have a library. We actually have 3 libraries. Excuse me. We have our big library downtown, which is huge. And then we also have a smaller library on the other campus. And then we actually have a special library just for our law school students.
How big are your 3 libraries?
So how many books, if you had to guess? How big are they?
Hundreds of thousands, if not millions.
So probably you never ever be able to read all the books in there.
There's a lot of books. And we actually have a rare book room in one of our libraries, which has really old books. So there's like an original book that Shakespeare wrote, and some other very, very old books.
Wow, that's really neat. Anybody else? No? Well, Mr. Aaron, I have to tell you, your interview was fantastic. I always was a big fan of West Virginia football. I never made it out to a game, but always enjoyed watching you guys play. I have you guys on display on my college wall back there, and they always kind of fascinated with the Mountain Man there, the lore of the Mountain Man back there. So they chose to find out more information about it, and it sounds like you guys are a school that's excellent for a lot of different reasons, and these kids should definitely be considering that when they're getting ready to. Go ahead, Sabrina.
Do you have any clubs?
Oh, that's a great question. Do you have any clubs?
Oh, yeah. We have over 350 different clubs. So we have a club for anything you could possibly imagine.
Now, we did hear one of the other schools has a manhunt club where the groups of students go out and play manhunt together on campus. Anything like that on West Virginia?
I'm sure we have something similar to that. I don't know all the clubs off the top of my head, but it's entirely possible that we have a manhunt club. Trying to think of some of the more fun clubs that we have. I can't think of anything off the top of my head right now.
That one,
I know.
Quidditch.
I think there's some sort of zombie club where they do these zombie walks downtown. They're pretty fun.
We've heard a lot about Quidditch clubs too.
Do you have science?
Do you have science as a major? The different sciences?
Yeah. We have all sorts of different sciences. Whatever you want to do, we probably have it. We're very strong in all the sciences.
Do you guys have a medical school as well?
Yeah, we do have a medical school.
Okay. Got it.
Do you have to pay for your stuff?
Like as far as books and school supplies, that stuff you're responsible for paying for, right? The school doesn't give you those things.
Yeah. You have to get your own books and school supplies.
Do you have your own room? How many students are typically in a room on the dorm?
You don't have your own room. We do have some rooms that you can live in by yourself, but most people have roommates. And the average student just has one other roommate, so there's 2 people in a room.
One more. Go ahead.
That the room, mine was the same as
Okay. Do you guys have like a suite kind of situation too?
We do have suites where it'll be like 2 people in one room, 2 people in the other room, and then a bathroom that connects them.
All right. All right.
Do you have any TV?
Oh, can you bring your TVs?
Absolutely.
All right, guys. So you do have to tell us what's one good cheer we can say here for West Virginia.
All right, so our most famous cheer is one person will say, "Let's go," and the other people have to shout as loud as they can, "Mountaineers." So I'll say, "Let's go," then can you guys say "Mountaineers"?
All right, hold on. Get your signs ready. Get your signs ready.
Are you guys ready? Let's go!
Oh, that's not
Yes.
loud at all. That wasn't loud. All right, come on,
we'll
one more
do it
time.
One more time, okay, guys? I need to hear all the way here in West Virginia, okay?
Real loud.
Let's go!
Mountaineer!
Yeah, that was good.